Hi, my name is Jennifer Brown, and this is my EDU692 research topic presentation. In this presentation, we're going to be exploring the student-led classroom. The research topic question that we'll be focusing on is how does the student-led classroom help students and teachers successfully set and achieve classroom goals while allowing the students to take ownership of their own learning? Some general questions that we will be looking at are: what does a student led classroom look like? What are the components of a student led classroom? What is the role of the teacher in the student led classroom? How is a data binder utilized in the student led classroom? And what is the PDSA, or Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle, and how does it affect the classroom overall? One of the areas I looked heavily at in my research for the student led classroom was student data binders, also referred to sometimes as portfolios and folders. In the article, Student Involved Data Use Establishing the Evidence Base, they defined SIDU as the practice, or student informed data usage, as the practice of direct involvement of students with data analysis and planning in a very specific and formalized way toward the end of improved academic outcomes. In the student informed data usage, the student is engaged in tracking his or her data in a personal tracking system that is sometimes referred to as a student data folder, but could also be a binder or a portfolio. Another article I looked at was student data portfolios that give students the power to see their own learning. And in this article, the school really used this idea of student data portfolios in response to accountability policies. They were looking at the Elementary and Secondary Education Act and how it mandated all students to achieve, and they realized that their teachers were working very tirelessly towards this goal. However, even though the teachers and administrators were working to rise their achievement scores, they really felt in response that the students, who are the key individuals in the equation, were not quite as involved as the teachers in themselves. So they kind of brainstormed together, went through some various options, and from their discussions, they decided to enact student data portfolios in their school and saw a positive change. So, what we're seeing in the field is that there's a lot of burden placed on teachers and administrators and test scores and different things in the classroom in response to data, but sometimes students are left out of the equation. So, enacting these student data binders, portfolios, folders, they're a really helpful tool to help the students become involved in the student led classroom, but also in ownership of their learning. A component that's really useful in ensuring that the data binders are useful, the folders, the portfolios, and also that the data meetings are centralized in schools is the PDSA model. It's the Plan, Do, Study, Act model or cycle, and it's really a cycle that is an effective change management model. It involves the key components: plan, do, study, and act. So they're making a formalized plan, they're implementing the plan, they're setting it, and then they're acting to response to it. Another component that's key in the student-led classroom is student-led conferences. So all of the time they spent tracking their student data binders, putting things in there, doing their class meetings, all leads up into the point where they're able to communicate that with others, in this case, their parents. So, in the article, Student Led Parent Teacher Conferences, they highlighted that one way to improve academic performance of students is to involve them directly in the assessment of their classroom work. In particular, student led conferences encourage students to participate actively in the evaluation of their academic process, which motivates students to think about and act on personal initiatives to improve their learning. Student led parent teacher conferences also enable the students to communicate directly with teachers, parents, and other adults about their learning experiences. Thus, really culminating all of the things that they're doing in their student led classrooms. My specific research question: how does the student led classroom help students and teachers successfully set and achieve classroom goals while allowing the students to take ownership of their learning? Hits some key components, which is the classroom mission statement and class norms that set the guidelines for the way the classroom is going to lay itself out throughout the year, the student data binder, where children are tracking their own learning processes and setting goals, and conferencing with the teacher, the classroom data meetings, where the whole class comes together to brainstorm data, the PDSA, which is the Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle, and the student-led conferences, which is the culminating piece where the parents really get to interact with their children and see all the things that they have been working on in the classroom throughout the year. Variables that will occur in the research project, the independent variables are the teacher perceptions of the student-led classroom and the goal setting, the data binders, the PDSA cycle, and the classroom meetings. The dependent variables are the goals and the results. The population and research setting will take place in the Midwest. It will include students and teachers in a K through 5 public school system. Within that school, there are 3 to 4 sections of each grade level. Grade levels K through 5. And then there is this is a school that is one of 3 within the district of the K through 5 model, and each classroom size will range from about 20 to 25 students. The research methodology I will be utilizing is action research because I will be involved and using my own classroom as well as some others in the research. The quantitative research that will be done is around student goals and the results in which are produced from those. And then the qualitative research will really be the teacher input and the surveys, the responses to those surveys. These are the resources that were used throughout the presentation that touched on student-led parent-teacher conferences, student data portfolios, the PDSA model, and then student-involved data usage.